Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and very good morning. Okay, first of all, I would like to wish Selamat Hari Raya, Maaf Zahir Batin to the Muslims. Okay, so how are you guys today? I hope everything is okay. Okay, so welcome to the FYP Workshop. So today's is the second session of the workshop. Okay, we have covered chapter 1 to chapter 3 in the previous session. So today we are going to look at chapter 4 and chapter 5. Okay, so as we all know, okay, ALS 600 will covers chapter 1 until chapter 3, introduction, literature review, and the methodology. Okay, but after that, students do not have any classes to help them prepare for chapter 4 and chapter 5. So that is your job, okay, to assist them to prepare for the two chapters. Okay, so one of the intention of this workshop is to help you to do that, to get some information on how or to prepare or to help students prepare their chapter 4 and 5, based on the rubrics of assessment that we have used for the past semesters. Okay, and secondly, it is to help us to in the process of assessing our students or our supervisors' final year project at the end of the semester. Okay, so I hope that all of us can benefit from this, especially the new ones. And for the seniors, okay, this is just a refresher course for you. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. I'm recording this, okay, because I have something going on at the same time. I'm so sorry for that. So if you have any questions related to the slides, you can just ask the organizer. I think Dr. Mai, Dr. Shamimi, Dr. Angie, and Dr. Pushpa is forever willing to assist you answering the questions. Okay, I thank them in advance. Okay, let me proceed with what I'm supposed to do today. That is to cover chapter 4. Okay, just bear with me. Okay, I need to adjust few things first. Okay. Okay, here's the slide. Okay, go to slideshow and from beginning. Okay, so here we are. Okay, now I feel much better because you don't really have to see me. All you can see is just the slide, because I'm using screen recorder to do this. Okay, chapter 4, results of the study. Okay, so what is it actually? So this is the outline of my presentation today. Okay, so what is chapter 4, results of the study? Okay, and then key aspects of chapter 4. Chapter 4, evaluation rubrics. Okay, this is the one actually rubrics that we have been using for the past few semesters. And then the introduction section, okay, of chapter 4, the content section, the concluding section, and we are going to look at the sample scripts, the ones given to you for you to read before you come to the workshop. Okay, I hope you have done that part, because I'm going to refer to that briefly. So I'm not going to read that the samples, but I'll just give the comments on the samples, the marks that we award for the samples. Okay, so let's move on. The first part. Okay, what is chapter 4? Okay, chapter 4, results and findings of the study. That is what this chapter 4 is about. Okay, so this is the section where you report the results. So we call results for the quantitative study, and we use the term findings for the qualitative study. But sometimes, because most of the time we have mixed method, so we may use the two terms frequently or regularly. Okay, so this is to report the results of your study based on the methodology or methodologies you applied to gather information. Okay, so if you look at this, the keywords are to state the results or the findings, okay, and to provide interpretation of the results and these results are arranged in a logical sequence. Yeah, so these are the things that we're going to look at, yeah, when we assess this chapter. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, so this is the evaluation rubrics, yeah, provided by the faculty or the program. Okay, so I just retyped that and put it in this form. Yeah, so basically for chapter 4, we have introduction, and that one introduction section is 4 marks. Analysis of findings, 8 marks. Commentary on data or interpretation of findings, that will be 12 marks, and conclusion or summary, 2 marks. Yeah, so we're going to look at these 4 sections, so one by one. Yeah, so this information, the one written underneath the subtitle there, or subsections, the one taken from the rubric itself. Yeah. Okay, so this one, I think you are familiar with this. Okay, so this is a part of the calculator, yeah, the final year project calculator. Okay, so there are 4 items there under findings. So introduction to chapter 4 includes the research questions, analysis of the findings. To answer research questions, okay, they are arranged logically according to research questions, and then commentary on data, interpretation of data, and with attention drawn to particular interesting, noteworthy aspects. And lastly, conclusion to the chapter, okay, on the summary. Okay, so what I have, the way I'm going to do or conduct the session is by looking at these items and provide more information on each item. Yeah, so these are the aspects, yeah, based on the one shown, the one that we have here and here. Okay, this is what I compiled. Yeah, so these are the key aspects of chapter 4. Okay, so I color coded these aspects. Okay, the first one, okay, from my side, it is purple. I think it's purple color. 1, 2, 3, and then followed by the second part, green. Okay, in green, 4 to 7, and number 8 is actually on its own. 9 and 10 is 9 and 10 are just other things. Yeah. Okay. So let's look at the first one. So for introduction, okay, we need to include some kind of transitions from the previous chapter. Okay, so this one from the previous chapter means chapter 3. Okay, some aspects of chapter 3 should be mentioned in the introduction. Okay, start the results section by restating the objectives or research questions of the study. Okay, and then after that we explain the organization of the reporting of the findings or the results. Okay, I'll show you with examples after this. Yeah. Okay, that is for those are for the introductory part. Okay, and then the second part will be the body part, that is the analysis itself. Yeah? So report the findings clearly, include details about the data analysis and interpretations, as well as statistical significance test, if any. Okay, this is for quantitative study. Yeah. So for us, I think many of us have qualitative study. Except for the earlier part, maybe a bit of descriptive analysis. Yeah. Okay, so not a problem. So report the statistical insignificant research findings for your academic articles credibility. And then after that is the where is it? Include helpful and quality tables, figures, and graphs. Yeah, to synthesize the results and findings. Okay, so for this one, tables. Yeah, so we have the format of FYP. Yeah, so ask the student to follow that closely. Yeah, so let's say if the font size is 11 for table, then follow that, and then the spacing, make sure they follow the spacing. Yeah, we don't want a big table with small font size. Yeah, and then taking up like the whole page. Okay, and then the content is just like a few lines. Okay, so please make sure that the presentation of information is done neatly. Okay, and then the use of figures or graph. Yeah, sometimes they have a big pie chart and then very small text. Yeah, to show the percentage. So no point of having that colorful pie charts when we cannot see what is written there. Yeah. So this one, I think the quality of the tables, figures, and graphs. Yeah. So make sure they meet the standard, yeah, of our FYP guideline. All right. And then after that, use the past tense when describing your research findings or results. Okay, this is standard. Just follow that. And do not use vague terms, and be as concise as possible in reporting the research findings. Yeah, so those two are part of the convention of writing research paper. Yeah, okay. So now these are the key aspects of chapter 4. Yeah, as I mentioned, these are actually divided into 3 parts. We're going to look at the parts after this. Okay, so let's begin, or let's look at the introduction section of chapter 4. Okay, this is taken from the FYP evaluation or assessment rubrics. Yeah, so I just crop this part, okay, just to highlight the introduction. So the skill: exceed expectations, meet expectations, progressing, not there yet. Yeah, so the score is between 1 to 4. Okay, 1 is the lowest. Okay, if you look at the information inside each scale, yeah. So for number 4, an overview of the chapter is clearly written, okay, on what to expect in the chapter, including the research questions. Okay, if we look through, okay, under, let's say, a meet expectation, the difference will be, okay, an overview of the chapter is satisfactorily written, okay, and progressing is briefly written, and not there yet is given but does not reflect the whole chapter. Okay, that's the skill. Yeah, so my focus, I will focus more on meet expectation and exceed expectation. Yeah, so for the examples that I'm going to use, okay, because to get that exceed expectations is so difficult. Yeah, it's so difficult. Okay, so we are trying to show you some example that almost there, okay, but still not yet there. Okay, but meaning, in other words, it is like 3.5, something like that. Yeah, so I'm going to show you that shortly. Okay, so what to be included in this introduction section? Yeah, so this is from the same rubrics. Okay, I break it down into these 3 parts or elements. Yeah, the first one is to include some kinds of transition from the previous chapter. Okay, restate the objectives or research questions of the study, explain the organization of the reporting of the results or findings. Okay, this is how I interpret what is written there in exceed expectation. Yeah, so I use that to refine it further to have all the 3 things to be included, okay, to be considered for in the introduction of this chapter 4. Okay, all right. Okay, let's look at perhaps example. Yeah, okay, so the same thing there. Okay, so here this is an example taken from the student's work. Yeah, but it's not in the 3 samples given to you. Yeah, but this one, I purposely use this one because I can actually make some changes, yeah, to the original version, just to have an examples for you to see. Yeah, all right. So this is taken from a study by the first batch, yeah, of LG243 student. Okay, complement responses in conversations among Malaysian English speakers, a cultural consideration. Okay, that was the title given. Yeah, so what to be included? Okay, so we need to remind ourselves, yeah, when we are looking at the introduction section in the chapter. Okay, remind ourselves of these 3 things to be included. Okay, the first one is the transition, second, restate objectives, and the third one is the organization. Okay, let's look at this. Yeah, chapter 4.0 introduction. So it says there, okay, this chapter presents the analysis of the data gathered from the questionnaire, which involved 10 respondents from each of the main races in Malaysia, Malay, Chinese, and Indians, and a focus group interview involving 6 respondents from each of the earlier groups. Okay, so that kind serves as not a complete one, but it is actually to show some kind of transition from the from chapter 3, yeah, because you can get this information from chapter 3. Okay, but it is still not there yet, yeah, but some elements are there. Okay, so the analysis is to respond to the research questions below. Okay, these 2 research questions. For number 2, restate the objectives or research question. Okay. What are the types of complement responses used by Malaysian English speakers, and how do the cultural perspective influence the Malaysian English speakers' perception of complement responses? Those are the 2 research questions. Okay, and then the next line we have the organization of this chapter is based on the research question above. So if you look at this, yeah, first the student talk about the complement responses, okay, by the 3 races using Herbert's 1990 taxonomy of complement responses. Okay, and then the result for the first research question are presented in a frequency table for each race and a contingency table for comparison purposes. Okay, and then the explanation of the results with reference to the table is done accordingly. Okay, that is the explanation that could include interpretation there. Okay, and then after that, for the second research question, this is still under how the paragraph is organized, yeah. So as for the second research question, the presentation of the findings on the respondents' perceptions of complement responses from their cultural perspective is divided, okay, into 2 subsections, okay, based on the factors that influence the respondent to give such responses, and the second one is to their explanation on how their cultural background influences the way they respond to the compliments. Yeah. So, and then the last one, this chapter ends with a chapter summary to summarize what is presented in the chapter. Okay, so this is the introductory paragraph or section for chapter 4. Yeah. Okay, so all the 3 elements or the things that need to be included are there, but whether it can reach that 4 marks, okay, we'll see that, yeah, okay, after this. Okay, so that is just to show you, okay, the first one, the first element is written there, the second one and the third one, yeah, the organization is the one below, okay. Okay, from here, now let's ask ourselves, okay, include some kinds of transition from the previous chapter. Yeah, some kind of information, because the information that we can get there, okay, about the 10 respondents, okay, that is sample of the study, and they have the focus group interview. So from there we know that it is a survey. The researcher conducted a survey and a focus group interview. But what about other information in chapter 3? Okay, so is it there? Okay, so but it is there. The second one, restate the objective, it's there, and explain the organization is there. Okay, so here the marks given, okay, this is between 3.5 to 4 marks, yeah. Perhaps the 3.5, what the student should add is the earlier part, yeah, the one include information, some kind of transition is there, but maybe add more a bit, yeah, or add a bit more on other information that is useful to understand the study, yeah, in from chapter 3. Okay, so for this one, it could get a 4, yeah, but most probably I think if I were to send, I send it actually to different assessor, and we have like 50% give 3.5, yeah, so that could be the reason. Excuse me. Okay, then let's move on to the analysis of findings. Okay, this is the one taken from the rubrics, and if we go through, okay, from 1 to 4, They are basically about the same thing, except the degree of expectation is higher, different. Yeah. So for exceed expectation, we have findings are clearly explained in a comprehensive level of detail and are well organized. Okay. So basically, they are. It is clearly explained, but not as clearly, and not clearly explained, and lastly, not very clearly explained. So those are the changes in the word choice used. Yeah. So, but basically, we should focus on the findings are explained clearly. Statistical analyses are appropriate, okay, and accurately reported. And lastly, table or charts or figure, okay, if we use clearly and concisely convey the data. Okay, we are focusing on that. Yeah. So let's look at this is the second part. Okay, so because it goes together, you will have these two in the same part of the report. Yeah, in chapter 4 under findings of the study. Usually the two will appear together. Okay, commentary on the data or interpretation of the findings. Okay, so this one we notice that students are lacking in this part. Yeah, because most of the time they just present the data and what they saw in the table and report just that. Yeah, perhaps they need to add a bit more, yeah, information about the result that they present. Yeah, so we're going to look at this. Okay, so what needs to be there? Okay, this is similar approach that I use. Yeah, so what needs to be there? Okay, so the content section of chapter 4, analysis of findings. Okay, please read that first. Okay, the first one, report the results clearly. Okay, the findings should be in response to the research questions and should be the answer, okay, quote unquote, to those questions. Okay, focus on data that enables you to answer the research question and not simply an offering of raw data. Okay, sometimes this is what I saw, yeah, in the students' work. They just put their data there, yeah, whatever they have gotten from their analysis, the coding, and then they extract the samples, they put everything there. So we have like sometimes a run-on table, yeah, from sampai 3 pages, yeah, until 3 pages. Okay, it shouldn't be that case. Yeah, so this is the finding section, so we need to report what we found. Okay, include details about the data analysis and interpretation, as well as statistical significant tests, if any. Yeah, so this is a quantitative study. Okay, even those who are doing quantitative, I have yet to see this. Yeah, the significant test. Yeah, okay. Basically, they just report things descriptively. All right. Number 3. Report the statistical insignificant research findings for your academic article's credibility. Okay, this one I've mentioned earlier. And lastly, include helpful and quality tables, yeah, figures and graphs to synthesize the result or the finding. Okay, the use of these tables, figures and graphs, yeah, they are used to synthesize, yeah, not to present everything there. Yeah, so we need to decide which one we need to put in the appendix, which one we can use in the in chapter 4 in chapter 4 itself. Yeah, all right. Okay, this is an example, yeah, taken from the same study. Compliment responses in conversations among Malaysian English speakers, a cultural consideration. Okay, so types of compliment responses used by Malaysian English speakers. So this is like some kind of an introduction, yeah, to this particular section before the students break it into 4.2.1. Okay, so the approach that she used here. Okay, so the first paragraph, yeah, if you look at the first paragraph, they mention a bit of the questionnaire, how it was administered, okay, and who actually responded to the questionnaire, what kind of information asked in the questionnaire. Okay, 20 scenarios of conversation, and a total of 60 compliments responses were elicited from the 3 races. And they are tabulated and categorized according to Herbert's 1990, taxonomy of complements, and then what else? Okay, and the presentation of analysis. Okay, the researchers began with Malay respondents, followed by Chinese, and lastly the Indian. So we have 4.2.1 will be about the Malay respondents. Okay, so from looking at this, okay, the students present the findings first before displaying the table. Okay, so this is table 4.2.1, shows the frequency of complement responses used by the Malay respondents. Okay, so the percentages that you see here are what are found in the table. Okay, so this is the table used by the students. Okay, so merely displaying of information findings. Yeah, there's no interpretation there yet. Okay, and then 4.2.4, okay, shows the comparison. Okay, this is later, yeah, because this table is 4.2.1. 4.2.2 will be the Chinese respondents. 4.2.3 will be the Indian respondents, and this is 4.2.4. Okay, I did not include all the paragraphs. Yeah, so this is a comparison of complement responses of the three races. Yeah, so the most frequent, okay, these are just reporting. Okay, they have like she has like a kind of comparison. Okay, so for the Malay and Indian speakers was similar, which was comment acceptance with 35 and 30% respectively. Okay, and then the Chinese and so on. Okay, so we could notice there, however, the second and the third highest type of responses of the Malay English speakers were appreciation token and written with 20% and 15% respectively, which can also be categorized under accept. So the whole thing here is actually in one paragraph. I forgot to actually merge them, yeah, because this I want to I separated them into several paragraphs to assist me prepare the notes, but then I forgot to undo that. But anyway, if you read further, we have a bit of the some just very small, I would say, yeah, the interpretation here. Even though the Chinese and the Indian speakers do not accept compliments, they also tend to ignore or give even though the Chinese and Indian speakers do accept compliments, they also tend to ignore or give no response, or even change the topic when getting a compliment, which can also be categorized under non-agreement. Yeah, hence the most type of compliment responses given by Malaysian English speakers is under the category of these two, yeah, accept and non-agreement. So this one we need to actually go back to the chapter 2, but this is not detailed to be included in the discussion. Yeah, so discussion we have more. This is just for us to understand what is going on here in this particular report of the finding. Okay, so this is the table. Okay, this is the cross-tab table. Okay, comparing the percentages of complement response types, yeah, across these three: Malay, Chinese, and Indian. Okay, so this one again, this one, yeah, if you notice, the most of the information provided is reporting of the findings. Yeah, very minimum, I would say, this part, yeah, that would be considered under interpretation. Okay, so we move on to the second research question: perceptions of the Malaysian English speakers on compliments responses from the cultural perspective. Okay, so this one, okay, this is some kind of introduction, okay, for this particular subsection. Okay, and this is the findings that they have. Yeah, so she extracted from the responses from the focus group interview. Okay, and she also highlighted the part that is relevant, yeah, to this one. These are the factors that influence the Malay respondents to give a particular compliment response. So this is actually extract from the interview. Okay, so she she did for, this is for Malay, Chinese and Indian, yeah, on separate tables and with respective explanation, okay, and a bit of interpretation of this information. Okay, so this is based on table 4.3.1. Okay, please read. Okay, the student introduced the table. Okay, responses on the factors that influence the 6 Malay respondents to give a particular complement response. So, according to speaker 1, okay, S1 is speaker 1. Okay, the respondents respond to a compliment depends on the people that give that compliment. Okay, so S1 says something, S2, S3, S4, and so on. Okay, so this is actually describing the information in the table. Yeah. Okay, so she did this for 4.3, 4.3.3, 4.3.2, and 4.3.3. Yeah. Okay, basically she just mentioned, okay, what is there in the table. Okay, so this is the have I put it there? This is 4.3.1. This is, oh, okay, this is the second part of the questions. Yeah, the way culture influences Malay speakers' responses to compliments. Okay, so these are the findings, okay, for the second part of the second research question. Okay, remember there were two parts earlier. Okay, all right, so I know it's a bit difficult to understand what the study is about because I only take excerpts, yeah, but just to show you how it is done. Yeah, okay, please read this. I forgot to time myself. Okay, so this is what she wrote. Okay, table 4.3.4 shows the way culture influenced the Malay speakers in response to compliments. So as one stated that the Malay culture has taught her to be polite and have heavy manners. As two mentioned that there is a connection between the religion, which is Islam, and also the culture of Malay itself. Okay, so and then further explanation, in religion it is not good to receive. Okay, this is additional part which you don't have it in the excerpt before, yeah, earlier. Okay, where is it? In religion, it is not good to receive too much compliment because the more the addressee keeps on getting it, the addressee will tend to be full of themselves and forget about who is the mightiest. Okay, this is just explanation. Okay, this is the kind of interpretation of the finding. Yeah, you can consider that as that. Furthermore, S3 claimed that in the Malay culture, they are full of manners, or called adab in Malay, and it is a basic manner to respond to a compliment by saying thank you. Okay, S4 believes that giving compliments is reciprocal. Return the compliment with a compliment. In addition, S5 mentioned that the Malay culture is all about being humble. Lastly, according to student 6, she believed that the Malay culture, in the Malay culture, they had learned to respect and be polite with each other. Okay, if you notice that, she did not copy exactly what was written here, but rephrased them. Yeah, so some of the information are additional information from the researcher. Yeah, in terms of the explaining or interpreting the findings. Okay, so this is actually the last part of the section. Okay, this is that like the overall comments, yeah, on the findings that she got. Yeah, based on the overall data of the focus group interview among Malaysian, okay, the researcher found that there are similarities and differences, and then she highlighted the similarities and the differences. Yeah, so this is the whole part here is actually the interpretation of the findings. Yeah, so we based on this information we can understand what the study is about. Yeah, we can understand it better. Okay, please read this. Okay, the hard copy of this, I think Dr. Shamimi will share it, yeah, so not to worry much, you'll get the whole thing here. Okay, let me move on, yeah. So this is the analysis of finding for the examples, yeah. So I, instead of commenting section by section, I put it this way so that I can have them all, yeah. If you notice that section 4.2.1 appears in the first and the last row, okay. 4.2.4 appears in all, okay. 4.3.1 and 4.3.4, and there's one section I put that as overall, yeah. So if you look at this, yeah, so the score for this in terms of the reporting the results clearly, okay, you can see that 1, 4, all of the subsection can be considered under here, yeah. But then in terms of interpretation of the data, you notice that 4.2.1 is not in this, yeah, because it is insufficient. It's just insufficient or not because it's not insufficient. It's not even it wasn't there, yeah, in the first place. It's just what she had was just presenting of the findings, okay. And then lastly, include helpful and quality tables, okay. That one, they are all okay, okay. So based on the information or the analysis presented, okay, this part the student should get around 3 to 3.5, yeah. So that's the maximum she can go, but most probably she will get a 3, yeah, based on what she presented, okay. And the next one is the concluding section of chapter 4, okay. Is okay, so this is based on the rubrics presented, or the rubrics that we use every semester. Okay, chapter 4, the summary is clearly written based on the elements in the chapter. So what are the elements in the chapter? So I refine it further into this, yeah. So what you need to do is to state the elements in the chapter, present the general results or findings or the research questions, and provide a transition to the next chapter. Okay, so this is the example. Okay, I have color coded it, okay, to assist us, yeah. So the first part, all the purple color text, yeah, is actually, I put it under state the elements in the chapter, okay. So that one is what we need to do is to look at what we have in this chapter 4. Okay, so you mentioned, right, this chapter reported the results and findings. Okay, that's the purpose of chapter 4 anyway. From the analysis of data involving questionnaire distributed to the identified group, that is the Malay, Chinese and Indian respondents, and a focus group interview. Okay, information that was mentioned earlier was still included in here, and the results and findings were to identified because results, the quantitative aspect, and findings refers to the qualitative aspect. Okay, they were to identify the types of complement responses, okay, and then how the influence of culture, okay, influenced their perception of complements responses respectively. Okay, so this information you can find it in chapter 4, okay, but there are more information, okay, that we need to include here, okay. So let's see, yeah, let's see how this one score. Okay, and then the second part, okay, the middle part is the present the general results. Okay, we have the results of the questionnaire showed that there were some similarities and differences in terms of the types of complement responses given by the 3 main races, okay, as categorized by Herbert's taxonomy of complement responses. Okay, but then no further information is provided, yeah, at least a summary of what they found, okay, should be included there. Okay, and then the next one is the findings from the focus group interview revealed the factors that influence the responses, yeah. So even for this one, yeah, it's very general. Perhaps the student should include a bit more, yeah, in terms of the what she found from the analysis. Okay, and the last part, further discussion on the results and findings in relation to the framework, cultural perspective and past studies will be done in chapter 5. Okay, this sentence serves as the transition, yeah, from chapter 4 to chapter 5. Okay, so looking at this, yeah, okay, so what what should we give her? Yeah, so this paper she has all, okay, but then in terms of the just now I mentioned in terms of the findings, yeah, perhaps she should add more, yeah, in terms of the findings for the first research question and the second research question. So yeah, so for this one she got the highest she could go for this version is 3.5, yeah, 3.0 most is between the two, yeah, between the range. So okay, so the comments given by the assessor basically in terms of the missing part of the findings of the analysis, just add a bit more, yeah, to get better marks. Okay, all right, so other components, they are all there, okay, even the results are there mentioned, but it's too general, okay, it needs to be a bit specific, yeah. Okay, so that's the score. Okay, now for us, yeah, how to do this fast, yeah, when we have the students' work and to look at chapter 4, whether their chapter 4 actually fulfilled what is required, we can look at the table of contents. Okay, this is how we do it. Okay, so you look at the research questions. Okay, what are the hedging devices? Okay, these are from the samples, yeah. Sample A, what are the hedging devices used in Malaysian and Indonesian press statements on the COVID-19 pandemic, and how similar or different the hedging devices are in these two, yeah, newspaper or press statements, yeah. So we look at chapter 4. Okay, this is chapter 4. Look at the how it is presented, introduction, and then types of hedging. That is for the first one. What are the hedging devices used? Yeah, so that is actually the types of hedging. So their presentation of this information is according to this. So the students should mention the organization of the findings in their introduction. Okay, so and then the second research question is in 4.3, comparison of the hedges between Malaysia and Indonesia press statement. Okay, so this we can see here that the students addressed the two research questions, and these are the organization. So hopefully in the introduction she also prepared this, okay, accordingly. Okay, this is for sample B. Okay, so sample B is about politeness strategies used by detectives in the movies Murder on the Orient Express and Knives Out. Okay, what are the types of politeness strategies? And the second one is, how are the politeness strategies used by the two detectives, different culturally? Okay, let's look at the table of content. Okay, 4.1, what are the types of politeness strategies? And 4.2, how are the politeness strategies used by the two detectives, different culturally? Okay, and chapter summary. Okay, it's all there. Okay, the two research questions, and the organization is according to positive politeness, negative politeness, and off-record politeness strategy, off-record strategies. Just the 3D. Okay, strategies. Okay, so it is there. Okay, so we hope the introduction is represented by this as well. Yeah. Okay, and the last one, sample C, the use of hedges in a debate between Jack Ma and Elon Musk at the World Artificial Intelligence Conference. Okay, so research questions. What are the types of hedges used by Jack Ma and Elon Musk? What are the contexts in which the different types of hedges are being used by the two, yeah, in the debate video? So if we look at the table of content, it is very brief, yeah. So we have introduction, and then the content, the analysis. First, the types of hedges, and then the second one, the context in which different types of hedges are being used by the two. Okay, so looking at this, there are no subtitles, yeah. Okay, but the research questions are there, yeah. The answers, the sections to address the respective research questions are there. Okay, not a problem. Okay, now let's look inside the introduction. Okay, we are familiar with this. Okay, let's move on to the introduction of sample A. Okay, so please read this. Okay, this is rather short. Okay, so this chapter presents the research findings of the analysis on the data collected. The primary source of data is the press statement. Okay, and straight away the results are shown based on the research objectives of the study that are to identify. Okay, those are the purpose. And last sentence, the results of the identification work are presented based on the types of hedges and comparison. Some kind of organization is there. Yeah. So based on this, not this one error there. Okay, so the results of the identification are presented based on the types of hedges and comparison. Yeah, so that is a kind of organization you can tick there, but the marks are just 2 marks. Yeah, because even though the criteria there are ticked, but then it is not sufficient to be awarded the full mark. Yeah, okay. So the next one, okay, this is sample B. Okay, so okay, please read. So what do you think of this one? Obviously, you can see the research questions. Okay, but some elements are missing. Okay, so for this one, okay, include some kind of transition from the previous chapter. Okay, you can have that in the first part of the introduction. Yeah. Okay, and then you have the restate the objective or research questions are there. Okay, explanation, explain the organization of the reporting of the results. Okay, it's not there. Yeah, because we need to know how it is presented, the information, how the information in this chapter is going to be organized. Yeah, quite a lot of information missing in this particular example or sample B. Yeah, 4.5 marks. Okay, and the last one, chapters sample C. Okay, this is all. Okay, so 2 marks because of the one in the middle. Yeah, restate the objectives or research questions of the study. Okay, it's just that. Okay. Okay, reporting of findings or results. Okay, this one, this is I have presented this earlier. Okay, this is my comment for the first sample. Okay, so for the first sample, you can refer to your samples. Yeah, sample A. Okay, analysis of findings, 3 marks. Okay, fulfill all, but insufficient to get a 4. Yeah, and interpretation is very low. Okay, that's because that's what the part that I mentioned earlier. Students have problems when it comes to this. Yeah, so the comment for this one. Okay, the findings are presented accordingly, but with an insufficient level of detail. Yeah, and the use of table to present information could be improved. Okay, what's wrong with that? Yeah, let me look at. Okay, this is the run-on set tables. Yeah, the table should be broken into parts, and then explanation should be in between that. Okay, and then what is the next one? Interpretation of findings need to be improved. Lack of detail to gain a deeper understanding of what the study is about or what the findings are about. Yeah, so these are the comments for sample A. Next one is sample B. Okay, sample B is okay, only 1.5 for each section. Okay, report the findings clearly. Okay, this is I'm not sure who's the student. The student has this, but not that not enough. Yeah, so when I tick, it doesn't mean that it is very clear or what. Yeah, just to indicate that that section is there. However, okay, then look at the comment. The comments there. The findings are not clearly explained. It's there, but it's not clearly explained. The level of detail is insufficient. Contain some organizational issues. Okay, this one you have to look at the actual sample. And the use of tables in presenting the findings can be improved. Extremely lack of interpretation of findings. Lack of details to gain a deeper understanding of the findings. Okay, or the study. Okay, this one, if you look at the sample, yeah, a lot need to be improved, yeah, in this particular sample. Okay, and then the next one. Okay, so this is sample C. Okay, sample C, analysis of findings 3.5, interpretation is also 3.5. Okay, so this one, the findings are clearly explained and well organized. Tables and graphs are appropriate and concise in conveying data. Good interpretation of findings. Yeah, but it's good. Okay, it's good. It's just that it can be improved a bit more. Okay, slightly more, but 3.5 and 4 that's very close. Yeah, the total mark will be not that much difference. Yeah, so this is a good sample for this section. Okay, and then chapter conclusion. Okay, we are almost done. Chapter conclusion. Okay, this is what we look at in the conclusion section. Okay, state the elements in the chapter, present the general result and findings, provide the transition. Okay, this one I have explained this earlier. Let's look at the sample. Okay, so for this sample A, okay, only have state the element of the chapter. Okay, this is what is there in chapter 4. Okay, the student had this information but not enough. Yeah, so the total will be 2 marks for this. Yeah, that's the highest this one can go. For the second one, okay, this is quite a long chapter summary. Okay, let's look at what they have. Okay, so this student had state the elements in the previous chapter, present the general results and findings of the research questions. So this one can go between 2.5 to 3 marks. Yeah, okay, but there's no transition to the next chapter. Okay, this is the third one. Okay, so the third one, this student only had the one in the middle, present the general findings of the research questions. There's no other information in what is there in chapter 4 or what are there in chapter 4, and there's no transition to the next chapter. So this one will get about the 2.5 at most. Yeah, okay, so you can go back, look at the samples again, okay, and compare that with the marks that we award here. Okay, all right. Okay, so that's the conclusion. Okay, and then from here, chapter 4, okay, we will proceed to chapter 5. Okay, further discussion on the results and the findings in relation to the framework, cultural perspectives, and past studies will be done in chapter 5. Okay, chapter 4 is just presentation of results and interpretation of result. But when it comes to looking at the relation of the results with the framework, cultural perspectives, and past studies, that one, yeah, will be in chapter 5. Okay, so I guess that's all from me. If you have any questions, I think the secretariat or the team, yeah, for FYP Workshop team will be able to answer the questions. So that's all for me. Okay, yeah, okay, that's all from me. So again, I am so sorry I can't make it today. Okay, so this is a recording session. So okay, I'm so sorry. Yeah, again, it's just that I really want to be there. Okay, it's tomorrow actually. So tak apalah. Dr. Mai, Dr. Mimi, Dr. Pushpa, Dr. Angelina, they are all there to assist you. Okay, I wish you all the best. I'll see you next time. Okay, inshallah. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.